About ready, Judy? Okay. Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the Green Lake Township Board of Trustees regular meeting of May 13th, 2025 to order at 5:30 p.m. Judy, can you do the roll call, please?
Webb. Here. McDonald. Here. Biondo.
Here.
Merrick.
Here.
Biganowski. Here. Kramer here, and Radke.
Here. We have a quorum. All members present. Before we go on to the next item, if you have a smart device, I'd appreciate if you put it on vibrate or mute. And with that, can we stand and do the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. The next item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Does any board member have anything they wish to add, remove, or alter? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Kramer, supported by McDonald, to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Motion carries. Next item is the consent agenda, which contains the minutes of April 8th, 2025, Treasurer's Report, and bills. The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with by one board motion without discussion. Any member of the board, staff, or public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such request will be automatically respected. If any item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted, receival, file, or approval is approved by a single board action adopting the consent calendar. Is there any member of this board wishing to remove an item?
I'd like to discuss an item briefly.
Under the minutes, Treasurer's Report of bills.
Minutes.
Okay, minutes of April 8th has been removed, and we'll place them under
Trustee salary?
Yes, trustee salary. Thank you, under new business.
Take off bills too, what the heck. We're gonna, if that's how we're gonna do it, to discuss things.
Well, that's what our agenda says, so. Okay, so we have a request to remove the minutes of April 8th and a request to move the bills. Anything else from this board? Any member of the public? Any member of staff? Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda that contains the treasurer's report.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Merrick, supported by West, to approve the consent agenda containing the treasurer's reports. Any discussion?
Well, so if they pull the minutes, so what about the report, the other bills, payroll and accounts payable should be in there too?
I meant to do the bills, not the treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report was still there.
Yes.
Right. So you want the accounts payable and the payroll, that's what you have questions on? That were
Yep.
paid? Okay.
Okay, means that's clarified. Is this a roll call for us, Judy? How about we do a roll call then?
McDonald?
Yes.
Biondo?
Yes.
Merrick?
Yes.
Biganowski?
Yes.
Kramer, yes. Radke?
Yes.
And West? Yes.
Motion carries, thank you. Next item, is there any declaration of conflict of interest? Does any member of this board have any declaration they'd like to point out on any topic on this agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on to reports. I see we have our community police officer here, Deputy Nofke. Could you come forward and give us an update, please?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Give you a quick report. Last month, we did our drug take-back we had 23.5 pounds of medication brought back. I always say jokingly that's a good thing, but also a bad thing. That means someone's probably passed away in the community. I'm going to look at if there's speculation that we may continue doing them or not. I thought our junk cleanup day might be a good day to do it when there's more people out and about, as opposed to a warm Saturday on April. I have as many people as I thought I would have. Aside from that, speed signs are up. Myself, the state police, and other county entities, we're starting to do what we call traffic blitzes in areas that we've had high crashes. County Road 633 with the recent fatalities, M37. We'll probably do some out here on 31, hopefully before the construction starts. So if you see a large influx of law enforcement vehicles, it's obviously not to write tickets off to people, but it's to create safe driving. And unfortunately, what that is the result of citations. So that's another avenue that we're doing. We've had good success on Acme on M72, and another area of a lot of traffic-related issues. That's pretty much all I have. Anybody have any questions? Oh, I guess one more thing. For the people in the community, I started doing, along with Long Lake Township, we're doing fraud presentations for any group of class, especially senior citizens. So if you have any groups of people that you might think would be interested in that, we're starting to do that because we average about 5 to 8 frauds a day. And we're trying to minimize that and not have the vulnerable adults fall victim to these types of scams. Our time's coming.
I'm sure it is.
That's all I got.
Thank you, Deputy Nofke. Appreciate your service. I do believe I see the fire chief case in the back. We have your written report. Is there anything in addition that you would like to add or emphasize?
Yep, good evening. Just wanted to make the board aware, we did have a major fire in the month of April at Go-Go Squeeze on the 19th. We're doing some reconstruction there and had a fire in the attic space in which we were on site for just about 12 hours the first day, and that included 8 other departments, 7 in Grand Traverse County and 1 out of Winnebago County, and also incorporated having a mobile dispatcher out here. So it was quite an undertaking. So big support and thank you to our mutual aid partners that assisted us with that. We did have 3/4 of our department there, which was outstanding. And then we ended up going back the next day as we kind of anticipated. It was a slow smoldering fire in their attic space, and those are difficult to be nice about it. So shout out to our crews and again all those mutual aid partners. Joe and I are still working with Go-Go Squeeze and their insurance carriers. Joe completed the fire investigation on it, and we're just doing some housekeeping paperwork with them yet. Also, just wanted to let you guys know I completed, the last 2 weeks I've been gone, I completed the fire investigation school put on by Michigan State Police. So Chief Parker from Blair and I were both down there for 2 weeks and successfully completed that program. So I'll be assisting Joe with those as we have them in our response area. So that's all I had.
Congratulations.
Nope. Thank you. Congrats.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm not sure if anybody from the Road Commission, County Commission, no? We'll move on to the next item. Public comment. This is an opportunity for the public to rise up, go to the podium, state your name and address of residence, and I'd ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes and direct it towards me and the board. Is there any member of the public wishing to do so?
Ted Klimashevsky, over at 8565 Strickland Road. I'm here on behalf of the Strawberry Point Association, and we've been going through our old documents about the septic system, And what we'd like to request is a sit-down meeting where we go through the budgets, the past budgets, how this all works, and compliance, and just overall how everything is working right now. We're noticing things that might be out of order, but we'd like clarification, so we'd like you to get all the documents from the beginning as far back as you can, and sit down with us in 2 weeks or so, and go through just how the whole thing worked and how it started and how it is up till now.
Very good, thank you.
Can you spell your last name, please?
K-I-M-A-S-Z-E-W-S-K-I.
Thank you.
Just like it sounds.
Paul, I'm going to be bending your ear.
It's going to take more than 2 weeks to find the record.
There's some people, Lions is probably further.
Okay. Any other member of the public that wishes to entertain this option? Seeing none, we'll move on to postponed business. Andy, this is Treasurer Bank Recs, and I had noticed Jill is in the audience. Been seeing her quite a bit. Thank you for your expertise, Jill, by the way, and your patience and tolerance. Andy?
I want to first start by thanking Jill. I think she spent more time in the office than anybody who's not employed or elected in their lifetime in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. She's probably put in 120 or so hours helping do this at no cost to the township. So that's just amazing that we have citizens who are willing to step up and help out, especially someone with as much knowledge as she has. I've learned a ton from her, so I want to thank you again, as I try to every day. I've included in the package the bank recs of everything but the tax account. We are still working on the tax account. That is what caused the majority of these issues that we had leading up to this. We have all the accounts reconciled up through May. Included them in the packet for you. Does anyone have any questions or want me to go over anything specifically, or is the packet and the spreadsheet that we added sufficient for you to understand what's gone on?
Well, I believe the predominant individuals that were inquiring in regards to the depth of this would be Dave and Pat. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to review it, likewise with everybody else, but have you concluded that you're getting somewhat satisfied for the most part?
I want to ask some questions. I mean,
Yes, here we go.
so is it from this point forward now the routine thing that it's not a mystery and you got it figured out in our system, how it works, and it's just going to go smooth from here forward?
I'd love to say that everything's going to go smooth going forward, but there could be something that comes up I'm unaware of. But for the most part, going forward, I'm confident in saying that it's going to be pretty smooth, pretty straightforward. I can say that about everything but the tax account right now. We're still working on that one. There were some issues that were discovered from what I had done, which caused these problems that went back way before this fiscal year. But I believe we've got the majority of the bugs worked out, and Jill and I are going to continue to work, and once we get the tax account set up, we're going to put together kind of a checklist for myself or whoever happens to proceed, or my predecessor, whoever follows me, on what should be done weekly, monthly, and quarterly to make sure that everything is up to date and flowing as smooth as possible, given.
Right now, you don't have the written procedure, but you're going to make it.
That is correct.
Is your deputy up to speed as you are as of today?
We are working with my deputy to get her up to speed,
Right,
yes.
so she would not participate so much in what happened in the last month?
That she's helped a little bit, yes, but not 100% up to speed.
So what I'm asking is, if you get hit by a bus, does she know how to do bank recs at this point?
I believe she would be able to do the bank recs.
Okay, thanks. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions, Pat? Comments?
No.
Paul?
Nope.
Sherry? No. Judy?
Nope, I'm good.
Myself, I think I've stated them before, or stated them already, and I'll say them again. Greatly appreciate you, Jill, and your expertise in this field for over 30 years and sharing your knowledge and your time is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
I do just want to point out, we did put together, Jill actually put together a spreadsheet, an Excel sheet that kind of shows how everything's done and is a little cleaner than what the BS&H reports are on how the bank recs are done and what the differences are. And if there's any issues, we can put notes, because sometimes there's payments that go, we'll put a deposit electronically in on the 30th, but it doesn't hit until the following month, so there'll be a carryover that occurs. So the bank rec will have an unreconciled or I'm drawing a blank on the words, but it'll look like there's a deposit that wasn't made when it was, when in fact it was just a tie over because of the end of the month. So there will be one of those in April that you'll see because the payment was made at the end, or the deposit was made at the end of April, and it didn't hit until May to the bank, so it didn't show up on the bank statement, so we couldn't check it. But it's a carryover that happens, and it's a lot cleaner on the spreadsheet when you're looking at, trying to look at what the bank recs that the BSNA software currently provides. That is something else I'm going to work with Heidi once we get everything going to see if there's a cleaner report we can pull up in BSNA. But that spreadsheet that doesn't look like everything else that comes from BSNA is, I think, a cleaner, easier way to understand what's going on financially with the township as well.
Thank you. I believe that concludes the treasurer bank rec issues, with the exception of Jill's comments.
Could I just ask something? So this packet that was provided for the reconciliation in March included copies of the bank statements, the actual recs that are generated off the system. I would think it would behoove the trustees and the board to let Andy know what they would like to see in the future and at what frequency, so we can meet your expectations. You know, this is probably overkill, but we wanted to show you, yes, the bank balance is what the bank statement had on it, et cetera, but it took more work to pull this together. So I think that either can be a discussion point or a decision now, just to help Andy and his deputy in the future.
Thank you, I forgot about that.
Okay, so if the board members could take some time and go through the reports that you received in the packet and which ones you'd like to continuously see, and get them to Andy. And that way, if there's any questions, he'll be able to respond and address it accordingly. With that, greatly appreciate that. Thank you, Joe. Next item, new business. Chief Case, I believe this is under your guys, your jurisdiction, in regards to Anthony Lackey. We have the information in the packet. However, if you want to give us a brief synopsis.
Yep, this is just, Anthony's requested to come on board. Went through the interview process and we did his background check through the sheriff's department. And, if I get any questions, he has no experience, but he's actually already signed up for EMT class that starts in a couple weeks, so he's ready to go.
Very good. Any questions, comments from this board?
Is that normally how we get people?
Yeah, he applied, came in, so I referred him to the application process after we talked, and then, we just went from there. Pretty much as the paid on call goes, he does live in the township, so interested in emergency services.
All right, so we don't get experienced people that often, or is this, I'm saying, how typical is no experience?
I don't know, Andy was the last, we've had some that are already in school that were other departments, but he's just a township resident that was interested, so, it would take pretty much any that comes across that way and can do background check and is willing and able.
I'll make a motion, we approve the hiring of Anthony Lackey as a paid on-call hire.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Merrick, supported by Biondo, to hire Anthony Lackey as a paid on-call. Any discussion? With that, could we, all in favor indicate by saying aye? Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you, Chief Case.
Thank you.
Next item is reviewing an application by Mr. Robert Glover. He has inquired his interest in sitting in the Green Lake Township Park and Rec Committee. have openings on that committee, and he is a long tenured individual in the county and would like to pass on his experience working with youth in our parks and that, and bring it to the Park and Rec Committee. He's done some interest, and he did submit his application, and I would recommend that we appoint Mr. Robert Glover to our Park and Rec Committee.
Second?
We have a motion by Biondo, supported by Kramer, to appoint Robert Glover on our Park and Rec Committee. Any discussion?
How many openings do we have?
2.
So we still need one more person?
Yes.
He is no stranger to the township for a lot of years over on Galvin Road there.
Yep. So, yeah, I'm still trying to check the status of one individual, and our airport manager also sits on the Park and Rec Committee, so we'll see how that pans out here in the near future. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carried. The next item would be the employee handbook. As you know, we were in a time crunch in regards to trying to implement ESTA, the Earned Sick Time Act, and vacation update in our personnel policy. We wanted to get the verbiage in because we were required to do so. We had more employees than the limit was to have it done by this spring instead of this fall. So once we got that, there were some questions raised in regards to how to deal with our emergency services. They fall under a different act, and their timing and their work time is different from the everyday employee time. So we're working with the attorney, and if I can, Judy is a lot more attuned to this, dealing with the attorney, as in the last month or so, I've been preoccupied with some other issues. If you want to give us a brief overview, Judy, if you could, please. I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, but you've been working with our attorney in this regards.
Yeah, so the issue we had before, we had ESTA and vacation all lumped some into one area. It was a bit confusing for some of the employees, so I reached out to our labor attorney, asked him for some of his suggestions, and he recommended that we break it down so that we have ESTA have its own little area and vacation time have its own. And then we kind of worked on the hours so that basically it's the same hours that we had passed previously. It's just now hour form instead of days, to kind of help with the fire department EMS.
Yeah, so if it's possible, if you'd like a little bit more time to review it and give recommendations, that's fine as well. This is just something that we tried to be complementary to what we've offered in the past, and to isolate the ESTA, because there's 4 categories that earned sick time could be utilized, and there's different nuances with that particular statute. That was passed 3 hours past the deadline, I believe. So we were in a time crunch. Pat?
Just maybe for a discussion with the attorney down the road, I think I'm seeing a couple contradictions in what's proposed. And the page that has the sticker on it says updated copy. Under eligibility and accrual, the 3rd bullet point says carryover. And the first sentence says unused leave shall not be paid out. And then in the final sentence of that same paragraph, it talks about unused leave being paid out up to a maximum of 72 hours. So that just struck me as, I was trying to figure out if there's any nuances there I wasn't picking up, but first sentence, not paid out, third sentence, it's being paid out, allowed to be paid out. And then if you drop down to the caps on the annual usage, it talks about how many of the hours can be used, how many of the accrued hours can be used, whereas if you go up to that last sentence of that I was talking about earlier, it says that they're not to be used, or the word they use up there is utilized, which I assume means used. So I'm seeing that as another contradiction. Up above it says you can't use them, and down there it says, well, you can use up to 72 if you've been here so long, or 90 if you've been here a little bit longer. It's just
Pat, where's that second part you're talking about? I'm sorry.
Right down in usage,
down in,
the bottom 3 bullet points. So, maybe it should just be referenced in that first section that you brought forward, Pat. I think we meant more than 72 hours, just to eliminate that, but see.
I'm not
Just
suggesting.
strike out the words paid out.
I think that's what we need to do, because this is a boilerplate, and we don't pay out the ESTA.
Well,
They can use up
what it
to-
is it's put in there to protect the township so that if someone were to quit, so that we are not liable to have to pay them out for the ESTA, unless they have used it, utilized it, but we can put it in we can do different wording, that's just how the attorney worded
Yeah,
it.
I think Dave's right on that. I think that if you scratch out the last 2 words of the top paragraph, the carryover, because we'll pay out the overtime, up to 72 hours, I believe.
Yeah,
is what
strike
we-
paid out, and it works.
And that works, and I'm not sure about the other part that Pat's referring.
Well, it's the one that the original conversation piece was no event shall more than 72 hours of has to be paid per calendar year. Then it goes, if you're under 2 years of service, 72, 3 years to 6 years, 90, 7 years plus 130.
I thought we were removing all that bottom part from this, for the sick time.
We were adding ESTA per leave calendar year.
Well, you have to
That'd be
remember,
part of that PTO.
because you're looking, because remember the ESTA is the 5.1, which is up, and then 5.1A starts vacation leave. So there's two different things that you're talking about.
So yes, we can bring your question forward.
Yeah, I'll try and clarify it in an email tomorrow to everybody.
Okay,
Just so.
thank you. Thank you, Dave, for your suggestions. Any other comments, questions? And do we want to take action at this point in time, or?
I'll make the motion that we adopt it with the 2 strikeouts, and then we can get clarification if it needs to get further adopted, but I want to do it tonight, so I'll make the motion.
I'd like to remove the bottom 3 bullet points. I think that would clean it up to where we want. That was, I think, originally referring to paid time off when we had it. And they scratched off paid leave and put in ESTA leave. I don't think I think that's covered in that part where we scratched out the paid out. I think if we remove that part there, that takes care of it, and then the vacation time is covered.
The bottom 3 bullet points can go away, and it doesn't change anything, but they don't hurt anything either.
I guess it says up to, so 72 scratches.
That's in the statute, whatever. I mean, that's,
Yeah,
we gotta do that anyway, whether we wrote it down or not.
Okay.
yeah.
So you support that?
No.
So Dave made
I'm, just for conversation, not changing the motion.
Yep,
So
Dave
just
made a
do the 2
motion
strikeouts.
I
to,
was just conversing.
I'll support your motion.
well, we have a motion by Bagnell, supported by Biondo to adopt the revisions with the 2 scratch-outs noted to utilize paid out. Any other discussion? Sherry? Andy, Pat?
I'm good now, thank you.
Yep. With that being said,
Wait, what? You're scratching out what? Paid out, and what else?
That's it.
Just paid out, okay.
The 2 words.
yeah,
Okay, got it.
Under the carryover, right?
yes.
Top one, yep.
Any further discussion? If not, can we have a roll call, please?
Biondo.
Yes.
Merrick?
Yes.
Biganowski?
Yes.
Kramer, yes. Radke?
Yes.
West? And McDonald.
Yes.
Thank you. I am remiss in regard regards to, I did miss an individual under reports. We have the zoning administrator's written report in our packet. He is in attendance. I made the request for him to attend, just in the event you have any questions of him. Mr. Hamilton, if I may, if the board will give me leniency in this regards, do you have any additional comments, statements in regards to your written report, sir? Okay, any questions of? Very good, thank you. With the next item would be the airport manager position. We have a couple individuals. I see one in attendance this evening. We also have another one. Mr. Jim Anderson depends on the day. He's wanting to retire, and he hasn't given a deadline, and other times he has indicated that he is retired. So I've been working with him in that regards there. He has some concerns, as he does have I think his Piper still in the hangar as part of his benefit program. However, at this point in time, the Piper has a blown head gasket, and he is very concerned that if he retires, we're going to ask him to remove the Piper right away. And I don't believe that is my intent unless the board directs otherwise. His son is concerned with that as well, wanting to make sure that his dad's not under too much more stress. Son Mike is works for the state police down in Grand Rapids, and he has indicated in his letter that he'd be more than happy to be an interim until such time as they can get the Piper fixed and removed. And we have another gentleman that's in Long Lake and has indicated and proven that he's utilized the airport as well. So this is something that we can bring to the board in that regards. We do have to maintain an airport manager, as that's part of the condition of the grant of the property to the township back in the mid-50s, was it, Paul?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, so we've been very good with that there. So I just bring this forward to the board. I think we paid Jim $2 a year plus he could have his airplane in the airport, and that he would use his 9N. I think he had.
I think it is a 9N. I was
Yes.
thinking it's 8N.
Yeah, I think it was his 9N Ford tractor with a brush hog to keep the runways mowed.
And he put crews together over the years to get brush out, scouts and different people so he's really, hey, I don't know how long he's been here. He was here when I got here.
Yeah, his father built the hangar.
Yeah, I mean, so we should, I really think that we should, in this interim stuff, make a plaque up for him, get a little recognition. He really did a lot for us over the years, too.
Yes, and his grandsons have taken a plane because they flew here, and now they're in the Air Force flying, and I mean,
We
they're
used to
just
take all kinds of kids up to ride.
young eagles or eaglets or something like that. Yeah.
So Marv, I'm pretty sure last time we discussed this, you said you were gonna dig out the old airport manager's contract and show it to us.
Yep.
Okay, so that would tell us whether the hangar, what the deal is on the hangar.
Oh, the lease is part of that.
Well, I know you're telling me that, I wanna read it myself. I wanna
It's the
see
same
it.
lease that you just approved for Buttleman, except Jim didn't get paid.
When was that?
A couple months ago, a few months ago.
Yeah.
No, the airport manager thing was different. We have an airport manager contract somewhere. We've done this several times, because it does expire after so many years.
I think it might be in with the old deeds that revert back to the old owners because of when we got the property. I wonder if it's in the safe in that packet.
Okay.
Jim,
Yeah.
do you have a copy of it somewhere you can put your hands on someday? Your contract?
Jim's not here.
No. Buttleman? What's Buttleman's? Bob?
Yes, Robert Buttleman, yes.
No, we've entered into a contract in the past.
Yes, we did.
There's a paper
Yeah,
contract.
there's,
I want to see it, because we're going to do that with the new guy, too.
okay.
I had a question.
Pat?
How are we advertising this? I mean, apply for this and then we'll talk about the deal later, or are we advertising it? Here's what the deal was with the old person. Is anyone interested, please apply? I mean,
The $2 is negotiable.
We can probably go $1.50.
I mean, these guys that are applying, are they expecting a salary or?
We hope not. It's not in the budget.
We're a public body, we need to have resumes and descriptions of all the people that want the job, not just...
Are you volunteering to head that committee? Is that what I'm hearing?
Again, people know about the opening, and we've got one applicant that actually filled stuff out and then knows about himself.
As I'm saying, are you volunteering to be part of a committee? Because I think we should have a committee.
All right, I'll be the committee.
Okay, who wants to work with Dave? Pat?
What do we need a committee for?
You're going to hire an airport manager.
Recommend, yeah.
In the interim, I'd like to make a motion, we hire Michael Henderson in the interim, because he's got the license right now. Since Mr. Anderson is retired or retiring or retired, I think we need to have that an interim manager with the $2 a year and the
And we have,
use of the hangar.
Jim's not officially out, so could he be a vice manager, or what do you call it, something else? The assist, or?
I don't understand, if he's in or he's out, I mean, Marv, you kind of...
He's told half the public he's out.
He's what?
He's told half the people in the community he's done.
And the other half, he's saying he's still on.
Right. Depends on what day you talk to him.
He's a subcontractor, isn't he? Not an employee.
No,
He hasn't taken any money since I've been clerk, and Rita quit paying him before she was gone.
Right,
So he's just been using the hangar, and that's
so
it.
there's no records that show he's an employee of.
So Andy, in order for you to do that motion, we have to, he's got to be gone. So either you got to say, okay, we'll deem him gone and put Mike in as interim, or if you're not sure he's gone, let's not do anything. Because his license is still going to carry us, we're in compliance. I don't know, it's a little limbo-y to me,
I make a motion that we release Mr. Jim Anderson from his duties of airport manager and hire Mr. Michael Anderson as an interim manager until the committee can bring forward a candidate to the full board.
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion.
Yes. You just made the comment that he works for the sheriff's department in Grand Rapids. How can he do this?
The state police.
Or the state police?
That's what the airport manager does twice a year. They meet with Michigan Aeronautical Association, whatever it is there. They come and do a compliance check to make sure that elevations are cleared, the flags are in good condition, the wind socks, I'm sorry, and the cones are still retaining their visibility of flight. There's a bunch of things that he goes through. Then he certifies that he is a qualified airport manager of the Michigan Aeronautics Commission through the Department of Transportation in that regards there. So he just signs that it is a viable, working, compliant airport.
We can have him just as a figurehead, basically.
Yes, and I just recommend that if on the motion that was made by Merrick, supported by Kramer, instead of hire, I think appoint would be a better served word.
I think that's the word I meant to say. I stumbled on my terms, I'm sorry.
Okay. Did you understand that stumble, Judy? Mm-hmm. Okay. For an interim measure, due to the circumstances of Mr. Jim Anderson's
Yes.
ability, continuity. So with that, any other discussion? Well, I'll add a little bit more to that. Then with that being said, then we can sit there and reapproach the applicants that have submitted and put an assistant or help wanted in regards to that airport manager application and advertise under the terms without the dollar of value of the agreement numbers that we have.
And you're gonna dig out that old contract.
Yep, Paul's given me a direction of where to ascertain that original one.
Mike here sent us where he passed the test and that. Is that a requirement to be the airport manager?
Yes.
So any of these other guys would have to present that to us?
They'd have to take the test. They can make application to, I forget the individual's name, Michelle Duncan of MDOT that administers these certifications. Michelle Duncan of MDOT.
Is Mr. Reichland here?
He's right there in front, left.
I see him.
So any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Thank you, motion carried.
So is the hiring committee that Dave's running, are they going to write everything up for the ad, or?
Apparently Dave and I will be working together. We'll get that, and as soon as I get him the information, the verbiage that we have, the last contract in the original agreement of having an airport manager. Okay, the next item, as it's per annual requirement by statute, we are required to provide a draft salary resolution for the officers of the board and trustees of this board 1 month in advance of a public hearing of our budget. Judy has taken the liberty of putting together the resolution number and filling in the blanks of regarding the salary resolution. The first one, let's see if I can get back to that page. This is the salary resolution 05132025.1. Clerk of the salary for the 2025-2026 proposed budget year would be in the amount of $66,893.00, effective July 1st through June 30th. July 1st of 2025 through June 30th of 2026.
Judy, do all these have a percentage applied to the last year's? Is that how you came up with these? What is
Well,
that?
Marv came up with the amounts, I just filled them in.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, so whoever, is there an amount, what is it? Is it a 4% increase, a 3%?
Some of these varied, as what was attached, I believe Judy sent out, was a mean of a salary across the county.
Very nice.
Comparable townships. We've tried to bring it in, as we've been working over the years to bring it into a median. We're not high by any stretch. We were very low, so we're just trying to gradually bring it up over the years to be the in the middle someplace for what we do, and that was part of the packet. So some of it was 4%, some of it might have been 4.73%, something of that nature there. So we took the median of that sheet.
Okay.
This one here, I don't know, well, you guys probably looked at it on screen, but,
Yes. That's why my.
oh, you got it, yeah.
My neck hurts.
So that's how the numbers were derived.
Great.
So-
So are we on that one, resolution 05132025.1?
Point one? Yes.
Because I would make that motion for the resolution.
We have motion by Biondo, supported by Merrick, to adopt resolution 05132025.1 as presented. And this will be brought back at next month's meeting, but we have to have the resolution to get it, to bring it next month. Can we have a roll call, please?
Merrick?
Yes.
Biganowski?
What do you mean it has to be brought back at the next meeting?
Well,
Yeah, we'll bring it back at our budget.
For the budget.
For the public hearing. This is to bring it to a public hearing.
All right, yes.
Kramer, yes. Radke?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
McDonald?
Yeah.
And Biondo?
yes. I could also make the motion of 05132025.2, the supervisor's salary.
Supervisor's salary.
Support.
0. And these are, so they're already plugged into the sample budget, it looked like.
Yes.
The numbers were-
Correct. So resolution 05132025.2 in the amount of 66,690. We have a motion by Deanna, supported by Merrick. Any discussion?
Yes. What you're telling me doesn't sound right. So if we do it tonight, it is what it is. There's no next month doing anything.
It's just, it shows up in the budget next month when you vote on the
Everything
budget.
shows up, okay, so this is it. This is the setting of the salary.
I think the law requires we do this.
Yes.
Ahead of time.
Then it's brought to a public hearing in our budget.
But a public hearing smearing, okay, that doesn't change anything, it's just a procedure.
Dave, you're overthinking it.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Biganowski.
Yes.
Kramer, yes. Radke.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Biondo. And Merrick.
Yes.
Thank goodness we don't have an annual meeting.
You'd be in
I
trouble.
make the motion for the resolution of 0513-2025.3 for the treasurer's salary to be $60,546.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Biondo, supported by Kramer, to approve resolution 0513-2025.3. Any further discussion? Let's roll call, please.
Kramer, yes. Radke.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Biondo. Merrick.
Yes.
And Biganowski.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I would make a motion to adopt salary resolution 0513-2025.4 for the trustees, amount of $9,439.
Second.
Motion by Radke, supported by Merrick, to adopt resolution 0513-2025.4, trustees' salary resolution. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Radke.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Biondo.
Yes.
Merrick.
Yes.
Biganowski.
Nope.
And Kramer, yes.
Motion carries 6-1. 6 yes, 1 no. Okay, that concludes that part. We'll move on to minutes of April 8th, 2025. That was removed by Pat. Pat, your comments in that regards?
Yeah, under approval of consent agenda, we removed the minutes from the prior month, and I'm guessing that we also then approved the consent agenda after the removal, and that's not in there, so I guess my thought would be to add that language, that we approve the remaining consent agenda after the removal of the minutes.
Was there anything left?
I'm assuming so.
Yeah, because she should have added it at the end.
Yes, under
Under new business. Okay. We can do that.
So motion to approve the minutes with that addition.
Where is this going?
Wait a minute.
It'll be the last item under new business.
I guess,
Also,
Well, there is a thing that says under there.
I think what
Under airport manager, there is a thing that says minutes.
Yeah, that's where the correction was noted because of the $3 versus the $3 million.
I think the issue is the verbiage on the motion by West, supported by Biganowski, to pull minutes from the consent agenda and place on a new business. There was nothing that said to approve the rest of the consent agenda. I believe that was part of your motion.
treasurer's report, usually there's treasurer's report and bills there. I'm assuming they remained.
They did, and then that was, the vote was then to approve that whole.
So I guess after the word, under approval of consent agenda paragraph, after the words place under new business, I would ask we add and approve the remaining consent agenda.
Okay, for clarification.
Yep.
And then we're letting Judy catch up with,
You can hear her writing over the microphone.
I'm sorry.
no, that's fine.
Okay,
Okay, you got that, Judy?
got it.
Does every board member have that? So what's your motion, Pat?
Motion to approve the proposed April 8th, 2025 minutes with the addition of the language and approve remaining consent agenda after the phrase new business and under approval of consent agenda.
Was there support for that?
Yes.
Motion by McDonald, supported by Biondo to approve the minutes with noted corrections. Any further discussion?
Yes,
Carrie?
halfway down that first page, that should be the declaration of conflict of interest there.
Yep, add conflict.
Oh, I see.
Grammatical error. Declaration of interest, it should be,
Oh,
I have interest.
yeah. Okay, with that noted, you still good, Pat and Paul?
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion? Shall we have a roll call on this, or can we do it by
We do it
voice
for
vote
the
on the
minutes.
minutes? Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.
The next one for Dave, we will have to do.
Motion carried. Next one, Dave, is bills, particular section, or the
First
bills.
page of the check register, one of three.
Yep.
All right, so Parker Harvey insurance reimbursement, $510. Parker Harvey is our employment lawyer. We don't do anything else with Parker Harvey. Why do we have insurance reimbursement?
Where are you at, Dave? I'm sorry, I'm...
Page one of three of the check register.
Oh,
Like the fifth item down from the top. Parker Harvey is the vendor name. Description is insurance reimbursement. We're not reimbursing.
no, this was a discussion, this is with, and, was it, Andrew Gills? Or
That's our
Parker Harvey?
employment lawyer.
This is the labor attorney.
Yeah.
But why does it say insurance reimbursement?
Where Sherry West has been engaged with Judy and myself in that, trying to figure out the,
Oh, the HSA eligibility?
FSA and HRA.
yeah,
Okay. All
that
right.
was that insurance.
All right, stop, I'm good. Now go
Okay.
down to the next group, it says AT&T Mobility iPads. I remember it was like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we all got iPads. None of us have used them or brought them in ages. I don't think we should, I don't like it, I don't want it, didn't want it to begin with. We're paying $1,500 a month.
This,
to
no,
get on it.
this is new iPads that Chief bought for the rigs.
Okay, so it's not us.
Right.
No.
Yes,
Off.
Yours are off, yeah.
yep,
Okay,
been on for a couple of years.
all right.
What rigs they going in?
All of them.
All of them? Updated in all, okay, thank you. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, anybody else have any questions, comments in that regards?
Not in that regards.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'd seen the other email I have in front of me, Mr. Long.
Oh, that would,
Is that Francis?
I'll cover that at discussion.
yeah, I've asked Andy to follow through on that. It was a very good conversation. I'm glad Chief is here as well. But the business at hand is the bills. You have everything taken care of, Dave? Questions answered?
Yep.
I would
Make a motion to pay
entertain
the bills as presented.
motion by Merrick, supported by Biondo, to approve the bills as presented. Can we do a roll call?
West,
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Biondo.
Yes.
Merrick.
Yes.
Baganowski.
Yeah.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes. Thank you, motion carried. The next item would be under discussion, and Mr. Biondo, to answer your question, Andy, could you give us an update? I did write out a supervisor report via the email. However, the information that I had at that point in time, I was, I think, in the middle of my honeymoon. So I did it from the balcony side overlooking the pool. Andy, could you clarify and correct my statements, please?
So we received a generous donation, actually two of them, from Mr. Francis Long, who passed away unfortunately.
Dr. Long on Mudley Garden.
Yes, sir.
Because there's another Long that passed away just in the township the other day. He was younger, but, okay.
And he wanted money to go to Green Lake Township Emergency Services specifically, and then to the township, and it was no conditions on it. We could use it for whatever we want. Green Lake Township's Emergency Services has received $132,842.35.
Nice.
Green Lake Township received $126,283.11.
So they put the cell order in at a good time for EMS and not such a good time for township. So
There were some struggles with because we're not a corporation, they wanted some documentation from us that they found out they didn't need, like articles of incorporation, as I'm sure you've dealt with when you were supervisor on things like this.
Is that how you understood it, Chief Case?
Are you creating special accounts now in both the fire and in the township board for that?
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah.
They go into the general fund for the emergency services under donations, and they went into the general fund for the township under donations.
And I seen it's already in the sample budget, you know, the,
The money was received and is in the account now.
Yeah, so it's in this year's budget, so it hasn't been accounted for, hasn't been
Allocated.
allocated for anything in particular, that's just extra.
We got up that money that time from that lady. who
Yes.
Sold the house, and it was years of.
That was earmarked for a specific purpose. This money is to go to the general fund.
Right, just to.
You don't need special accounts.
Could you get your microphone so I can hear you later?
Yeah, so at this point, it was unrestricted, we could use it for whatever the board feels is, necessary for the operations, and I do believe same thing goes with the EMS portion of the donations there, which brings back to the next discussion.
I think that was, she had said something I think was important, is we had received money, and we had to set up a special account at one point, because it was specifically earmarked
It
or
was restricted.
restricted for the building of a new fire station, so we couldn't intermingle or put that money in with the general fund. Because this was unrestricted funds, it just goes into the general fund under the two different accounts, the 205 for emergency services and the 101 for the township.
Yes, as a notice, oh, go ahead.
he was a very good gentleman for, Dr. Long, I think is his name, but, I mean, him and his wife, and I don't know, when did he pass away? I missed the.
I don't recall the,
Yeah.
8 weeks ago, Chief?
A little longer than that.
9, okay.
Yeah.
10 weeks ago, something that we met with the individual that was in charge of the funds.
Nice.
And at first, I just scratched my head and went, no, this is not real, something's wrong, because they wanted via phone call, hey, can you give us your account number and ACH transaction stuff? I went,
we need Nokia to give us a scam training on that one.
So they were willing, and they did come out and sat down with us and went over the paperwork, and I went, yeah, it looks official. So with that, that was a very good thing. And we'll have to recognize that at a future endeavor in the near future.
But I wanted to make sure that we mentioned Mr. Francis Long had made that donation to both emergency services. He was really appreciative of everything that was done for him when he was here from the emergency service department and the township as well. He spoke very highly of all of us there.
Yes. And so with the budget that, the draft budget that was put together, with the most current information that we had at hand, I wasn't familiar with any substantial capital improvements that we were looking at this year that I was aware of or was brought to my attention. We could certainly work on that, but the budget as presented is actually in reserve in the amount of roughly, in the black, roughly $89,996. We still have, some revenue to see where we actually fall in and some of our expenses at the year end, but this was an anticipated starting point for a budget in '25 and ending in '26. So looking at that, Judy was kind enough to give us a ratio of where we stand with our budget. As you notice there, so there probably sometime in the month of June when we can get a better handle on payables versus receivables and their timeline. That will come in after the July 1st budget year, which will be taken out of this current budget year. Some of our expenses and some of our revenues we won't receive until the middle of July for June for this budget year's revenues and expenses. So taking a look at that, if the board has any questions or concerns, we can definitely schedule that.
Just that, the first column that contains the 23-24 approved budget. I was just thinking if we could get one of our computer experts to maybe replace that with the actual revenue and expenditures instead of the budget, it would be slightly more useful.
Which column?
That's the
The
activity,
activity
is
you
what's
want?
actual.
The first one.
This is what actually happened, that's what we approved. to
Yeah, the
spend.
third
I'm
one.
talking about the first one. Historically, it shows us our budget
Oh.
from 2 years ago. And I would rather have what actually happened than what we thought was gonna happen.
I see.
Oh, okay,
The activity.
Yes,
so you want the final activity of 23-24.
please.
Right.
I was in
Okay.
the wrong year, Pat, sorry.
So we can sit there and run that.
Yeah, I think at one time we put all 8 columns in there, it was a little much. It does make sense to see, the budget and what we actually spent it.
Yeah, the audit, the budgeted, and then the audited. That's, okay, we can sit there and see if we can add that column in. Judy, I think you and I could work something out in that regards there and verify it with Andy's office as well.
And I think you could probably dump what's there. I would think we wouldn't need to compare those anymore.
Yeah, I'll just change, but all I have to do is just go in and change the column.
Right, you're required to have some of these in there. I forgot which one.
We might have to have the approved, I think you're right.
There are, I forgot which ones are required.
We do have enough room, I can have both.
Yeah, we can remove the percent changed, because you have that in this document now, and come back with the final activity, 23-24. And just shift those other columns there over to the right, and take the approved percentage change and put that for the actual activity.
Yeah, because what I can do is that when we get our final in, when we get towards the end of July, is do a complete with, and then I'll add these columns, but then add that approved percent change back in so the board can see where we actually ended up. For
It looks
spending
good,
wise.
but if you were getting around to the point of, do you want to get together and work it over during the daytime or something?
Yeah.
I have a couple issues I went through and penciled up, but no important things. I just kind of thought, well, maybe we ought to talk about a few things.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think Dave made a request that we perhaps evaluate a second cleanup in the spring as well.
Yep.
So I think that's not a, individual decision, obviously that'd be a board decision in that regards there.
I thought we had that discussion after the last cleanup and decided as a board to do one cleanup and do it in the fall because it was cheaper, because everything had tended to dry out from not
Right.
sitting out in the snow all year.
I think
Well, then we had
but-
public input on that also, but it's something to consider if there was another option, because we'd still get calls. I wish others were here, Mary Jo, when's our spring cleanup day?
The other problem we've had is that the last 2 years, by 10 o'clock, the line is done. So we're standing there from 10 until noon with very little activity. We just don't have the amount of activity that we've had
Hoping
before.
100 people don't show up the last 15 minutes.
We welcome it.
Well, I mean, it definitely puts everybody to a stress test, because, Sherry's the director at that line after they see Judy and Pam, and with Mary Jo walking up for the tires, so it was Sherry and I sitting there running the crowd, which truck we're running to. It's been Thank you, Sherry, by the way.
Got everything.
Saves me a lot of steps.
Actually down to a science now.
So in that regards there, so that's something that this board would consider, or if you think it warrants enough to send an email, and I can send it back out here in the next 2 weeks or so, and see if there is additional follow-up.
Well, we did that survey that one time, it was like 50-50 almost that wanted fall or winter, 2 years ago.
Yeah, Judy has that number, or Mary Jo has it.
Mary Jo.
Mary Jo has that number.
We have more garbage in the spring. It's like Judy said, we're usually 11 o'clock.
If you're a Green Lake resident and you look, what does this damn Green Lake Township Board do for us? They'll remember we had a cleanup day. They don't know who the hell we are, when we meet, or anything else, but they do remember, hey, they had a cleanup day. So I think that's a public service, and it's not that big of a deal in our budget. And if you guys don't want to work it, we'll hire some goons to do it. I think we should do it.
It gets rid of a lot of the junk laying around everywhere.
No,
Blair Township has
it's about 20,
half a mile long line.
So since
About
all this crap was scratch
$25,000.
sold, is
Yes.
understanding, so.
Yeah, I believe Padnos took it over.
So on the next agenda, next month's agenda, have the discussion about cleanup day. That way Mary Jo can give us the information from the survey she did. We can look at what the budget is, we can look at the numbers versus saying it sounds like a great thing, but there is an expense involved in that.
Yeah, and if you take a look at this draft budget, this draft budget, 125,000, give or take a few pennies, that Mr. Long bequeathed to the township, is not included in this budget.
Oh, I thought it was in the fire, though.
No,
Oh, really?
We've received it.
I seen 100 something, I just.
It's received, it shows the activity for the 2024-2025, but it has not been allocated in the 25-26 requested budget.
yeah, so that's over and above this budget. Those fund numbers are over and above what's been prepared on this budget.
And if you look at the interest too, there's a significant amount of interest we're receiving and allocating to the different departments now because of,
Well, I figured that interest in there was erroneous.
nope. I've received about $82,000 in interest through the investments that I've done through the Huntington Bank account that we've got, which also caused some of the issues with the bank reconciliations. But Trent had said we need to allocate the interest now because it's real money versus the couple of thousand we used to get.
Right.
So you're going to see on the first page, there's $14,000 went into the general fund that in the past had been $2,000. It's going to be a little bit less this year because interest rates are going down than what I can invest in because we are limited in what we can do with our township funds because we got to keep it safe. No roulette rules.
Yeah, private donations, I assume that was 133,043. I thought, oh, you just showed it as you took it in.
Correct.
Yes, the activity for this year, yes.
So that's just one of the checks, right?
Correct. And if you look on the front page, there's private donations, 165.87. We've received some other funds throughout the year. I think the CPO is in that money from the half of that from
I see
the
it.
Arts Academy.
Yeah, and some of their donations there in that regards. So take a look at your schedule. It is May 13th. We have 2 weeks remaining this month and 2 weeks before our next board meeting thereafter, so about 4 weeks. But there's nothing to say that we can't continue to work on the budget and hold a specific public hearing for our budget that latter part of June. But we do have a notice set up for June 10th, I believe, our public hearing notice.
Yep.
So if you'd like, we can sit down and go over the budget, or if you feel comfortable enough to send me an email or set up an appointment with me, and Judy and whomever you think would have the information that you're requesting, and we can bring it forward into the budget, and just have a notation sheet that, okay, Paul had the following questions, and here are the response or the answers, or something the board can discuss and answer collectively at the public hearing.
And if you do send an email, don't send it to the entire board. Just send it to Mr. Radke.
And Judy, but she's the input wizard.
Nice.
And quit hitting reply all,
Yes.
please.
I never hit reply.
You reply.
So with that being said, what are the wishes and desires of this board in regards to having budget workshops versus individual request positions, so we can account for it and for the public hearing process of our budget center?
I'm good with this discussion at the next meeting, and anyone bringing any concerns or thoughts they have to you and Judy individually. I mean, it's a working document, we can change it as we go forward, it's not chiseled in stone, so.
I agree with that. I also agree we should do the public hearing, just pass it the next, and that way it's done.
It's done.
10th.
Unless we as a board look at it and go, yeah, this is awful, we need to work more, but I think we're pretty close.
Well, there's
It's a
some
good
things I
budget.
think we want to, I personally think we should probably have a brief little meeting at least and go through a couple things, but.
No, we can.
Next week looks good for me.
I can do it with
Following
you all
not so
individual,
much.
it doesn't matter, whatever you want.
No, I think, let's bring it forward. It's been a while since we've had that, we have some flexibility now.
And to tell you the truth, they're more in the special accounts, those ones that are always a challenge.
Yes, we definitely have some of them in that regards there. What does everybody's schedule look like for the 20th or 27th? Because the reason I'm bringing the 27th in, we have coffee with the county scheduled here from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Where representatives of the county agencies will be in attendance, hopefully, on Tuesday, May 27th at the township offices.
But for me personally, the 20th is not a good day. I have to go.
27th won't work for me.
Other than that, I'm pretty wide open.
The 27th.
27th, if you do it in the morning.
Do it at 11 after the coffee of county.
The 27th at 11, I heard, and seeing two affirmations, 3.
That works for me.
Yes.
Dave, Pat, I'm shaking, Sherry? Sure, we'll go with, May 27th, a budget workshop at the township office meeting room at 11 a.m. Everybody have that down?
Which is the township office meeting room.
The voting room.
The voting
The new
room.
voting room.
At the township office.
Okay.
And that way we'll have the ability for a resource to log into the server and get any additional information that may be required.
Yeah,
And
because
if-
then we can actually I can have it set up so we can do the budget in real time.
Yes. And that way, if you do have any questions beforehand, or you would like to see anything, please do so. That way we could have the information readily accessible for those that would like to have it ahead of schedule. So I would entertain having a budget workshop on May 27th at 11 a.m.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
We have a motion by Kramer, supported by Merritt, to set a budget workshop May 27th at 11 a.m. Any discussion on that? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carried. We'll have a meeting that date. Okay. Any other discussion?
Just one last thought. If we're gonna go recreate the history of Strawberry Point, coming up here pretty quick, after we do that, we should kind of try and bundle it and preserve it all in one spot, so in case we have to do it again in 5 or 10 years, we can just grab it, instead of recreating the wheel again.
That would be a good thing.
You got about a truckload full of stuff. I'm not kidding, am I? No, it's a big file.
2004-ish, Paul?
7.
Well, that's when it was done.
We bought the property Yeah, we bought the property, though.
Yeah.
7.
Was it in 7?
I have it.
Oh, good.
And you want us to get the paper that you have?
No, what I want is the original agreement. I'm getting it, and we are actually contacting the attorney that drew it to see what he has, so maybe we can make this a lot easier.
Okay.
If he has a good file, but we're just trying to, recreate where everything's at right now.
We like the easy button.
Yeah, and that might really expedite things. I'll stay in touch with that.
Okay. Yeah, if you just, you got his contact information? Okay. So we'll sit there and get that going. From Butch, I'm going to reach out to Mr. Straight and ask for his information as well, because he's the one that files the paperwork with the state and all the documentations, and also our county health department has records that I didn't know existed as well. In regards to one particular lot. Anyways, it's no topic. Any other correspondence, discussion? Having none, I believe we've reached the second public comment period, which the rules would apply as the first. I'd ask that you rise, go to the podium, state your name and address of residence, and limit your comments to 3 minutes towards myself and this board.
I can speed talk. Joe Coverdell, 5648 Glenwood Way. First of all, I'd like the board, especially the trustees that aren't in the office all the time, to be aware that Andy's been very cooperative on working with me to get the bank reconciliations caught up. It's been an extraordinarily tedious process. Nothing was easy about any of it. So he's been very cooperative, and I think has learned a lot, and has better ways of doing things going forward. Secondly, I just want to be sure that you're aware that I'm not attesting to any of the individual fund balances that might be like within the general checking. We're just tying the total back to the bank statement. So there may be misclassifications that have gone on through the years. I'm not attesting to that. Thirdly, I would put a sense of urgency on working with the labor attorney about the medical reimbursement accounts. There's one that's on the books for Green Lake in about $2,000. There's another one at Huntington that is not on Green Lake's books, but it's in Green Lake Township's name that has about $4,300 in it. There are very specific regulations of when you can have a health reimbursement account set up, especially if it involves someone that's crossed over into Medicare. And there are severe penalties and trouble you can get in with the IRS if you're not doing it appropriately. In most cases, if an account existed prior to someone going on to Medicare, it can continue to be accessed, but no further contributions can be made by an employer. So I think you've got to really kind of push this, because I brought this up a few months ago, or whenever I started doing this gig. I've got a hell of a lot of sick time and vacation time. But, I think that we need to work quicker, and they should be able to get the answers to you. But the fact that one's on the books, one isn't on the books, but they're both in Green Lake's name is really weird. And I think it just needs to be ironed out quickly. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment?
Yes, good evening. Richard Reichland, 7932 Sunset Drive in neighboring Long Lake Township. Just want to comment on the airport. I want to agree with you that Jim should be honored. He's got quite a history there. That plane's been there since the beginning. I've done some digging, and Library of Congress shows FAA charts beginning to chart that airport in 1949, so it has been there and operational for 81 years. In addition, one of the Blue Angels got his tailwheel endorsement there at that airport in Jim's plane. So there's some really some fun things about that airport. So anyway, I do think it's important that someone is available that's local, because in addition to the FAA things, you call the airport manager for field conditions. I want to tie down overnight, things like that. Like if there's a storm and I want to land somewhere, I will call somewhere small like that. I'll call the manager and say, hey, Is it wet? Any trees down, whatever. So I would like to make myself available. Please share my phone number with, is it Mike Anderson? Or whomever. I live 15 minutes away. I'm very happy to help out on a volunteer basis for anything like that comes up. So, anyway, thanks for your consideration.
Before you volunteer, I'd talk to Jill.
Walk away when you can.
I know how to have her number. I thought I'd be I'll tell you, Andy's been in the office and working hard, probably a heck of a lot more than he normally might be, because of me being around. But
She scares me.
my line to him is don't make me hurt you. I'm used to that line, so we're good.
I'm really afraid she might.
Yeah, we should be.
Scott Richards, 11802 Fredmar. I'm going to share what I shared last night with the school board. The best thing I ever learned in life was sugar time with my grandparents and his grandkids. We'd get together, read a short little devotional that went with the Bible verses, then we'd get up and hug each other, kiss each other. Those were the best days of my life. That's what I do every morning. I don't have somebody hug and I don't have somebody kiss. I hope you take God's word very seriously as you're good stewards of our township, because you know there's Psalms 119, verse 11, I've hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. And if you know God's word, you take it very seriously, and you should be good stewards of the citizens of Green Lake, and yourself, and your community, your brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other member, Mr. Kask? Any other member for public comment? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting at 6:51 PM. Motion by McDonald, supported by Radke. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. No. I didn't answer that.
Sorry, natural reaction.
I'm not putting it in the minutes.